the dogs outside keep barking. So hopefully it's quiet for a little bit. But if they start barking, you might have to just deal with it a little bit. But this chart reading is for August 24th, 10:54 a.m. in Fosston, Minnesota. And you asked specifically what sign would work best for me as a match in love. So I've got the chart here. And where to start? So where I would start is, I mean, if I had to just pick one sign, it doesn't really work like that, but if I had to just pick one, I'd pretty much always go with the sign of the descendant. And the descendant is always opposite your ascendant. So in this case, your ascendant is Libra, so your descendant is Aries. And I did a video covering a lot more information on relationships and the ascendant-descendant axis, so if you'd like to know more about that, I'll leave the link in the comments and in the description. But otherwise, yeah, so if I had to go with one, your ascendant is always on the left side, so it's right here. Yours is Libra, like I said, so your identity is very much fixed in that. So Libra is more of the observer, and it's more relatively passive or indirect. It's more of an observer. It's better with like being creative or doing passive activities like reading, writing, artsy stuff, or it's very diplomatic, very good socially because it's very focused on other people, and the focus is on the outside world, not itself. But opposite that is Aries, where the focus is on the self. So anyway, so what this creates in your chart is you're someone who wants to be in a relationship with someone who takes charge. That would be attractive to you not only in the short term, but it's also something that you need and expect in the long term from someone. If your ascendant is your sense of self and your identity and your ego and all that stuff, the descendant is exactly opposite that, and the descendant represents how you see the world, how you see other people, what you expect from other people, and a lot of your needs and expectations in a relationship or in any one-on-one relationship. So having someone with Aries placements would be really key. And like I said in the other video, it doesn't necessarily have to be someone with Aries placements. It usually is. Usually they would have something there, whether it's rising or sun or moon or something else. But more importantly than that, they have to have themes of Aries. So again, like they're probably, you wouldn't want to be the initiator in the relationship. You'd be more comfortable with someone else leading, or someone else, initiating with you, initiating the relationship. So you want someone really confident and someone fiery. In astrology, probably someone with a fire in their chart. So maybe Sagittarius or Leo, but especially Aries. It would just be very harmonious and complementary. What else? And again, it doesn't necessarily have to be Aries, but just someone who takes charge, someone who initiates, someone very confident. And you might think that, doesn't everyone want a confident partner? But actually not really. Different people want different things. Like the person you wouldn't want to be with a partner who initiates because they would want to initiate. So they would want to be with someone like you who more, goes along with them or supportive of them, or maybe focused on them more so. They would like to be the initiator and the leader with you, and if that makes sense. And because you're female, I think that kind of fulfills a more traditional role where, the man usually initiates, if you want to think about it that way. So that's the main thing. That's the most important thing. I can look at other indicators in your chart for what you'd be attracted to. Like Venus and Mars are more what you're attracted to, just, sexually, or just what you desire, but it's not always so much what you need in a long-term relationship. You do need it just because, like, what the Venus and fire signs in your chart represent what you need to feel attracted to someone, but you don't always need to be, like, attraction is a part of long-term compatibility, but I don't think it's the main thing. The main thing, astrologically, I would say, is your descendant. So again, Aries. But as for your Venus and Mars, the types of people you'd be attracted to might be watery and fiery. So your chart is very earthy and airy. And then it's interesting that you have Venus and Mars in water and fire respectively, and then your descendant in fire. Also, your north node is in water. So I'm noticing a theme where you're very earthy. You've got Sun, Pluto, and Mercury all in Virgo, which is Earth. Moon in Capricorn, which is Earth. Saturn in Taurus, which is Earth. Very, very earthy. But then after that, you do have rising in Libra, which is air, and then Jupiter and Uranus in Libra, which is, again, air. Mostly just the rising kind of makes air an important theme in your chart. But you're more earthy than anything else. But I'm noticing a theme where you generally you aren't very watery or fiery. So those are the more emotional elements. You're more logical and earthy, grounded. Even air is more of a mental energy. It's not very emotional at all. But you'd be attracted to a more emotional, more passionate partner with your Mars and descendant in fire signs and your Venus in water. You'd want to be with someone who initiates, someone fiery, but also someone emotionally nurturing. And you would be very emotionally nurturing of them because that's your Venus, and especially as a female, that's how you would show affection, is through your through the groundedness and earthiness of Virgo, so the practicality and helping out with routine things or physical things or financial things, helping organize things. That's all Virgo stuff. But specifically with relationships, you'd be very emotionally nurturing, and so it would be beneficial to find a partner who's emotionally nurturing as well. But most importantly, since you're a female attracted to men, you'd be looking for really a fiery personality. Because again, I said Aries is your descendant, so that's the most important thing. But after that, you do have Mars and Sagittarius, so you'd be attracted to guys who are confident, initiating. I said all that stuff before, but specifically with Sagittarius, someone who will take you out on adventures, or someone to try new things with. Someone who sort of opens you up into a different world of sorts. Like, that's kind of very Sagittarian in a way. Mars and Sagittarius. You'd also be attracted to maybe a man who is from a different socioeconomic class as you, or a different race or culture or nationality, or some kind of different disposition, some kind of different world that he could open you up to. That would be very attractive to you. Someone who helps your soul grow in a way, because trying all these new experiences and talking to different kinds of people or whatever it is, all that sort of helps soul growth in a way. So that's what you'd be attracted to in a man. And then that totally fits well with all the stuff I talked about earlier with the descendant in Aries, because Aries is also a pioneer, fiery energy, has a lot in common with Sagittarius, likes to try new things and take the first step, likes to be outgoing, confident, excited, or very energetic. So that's what you sort of lack that in your chart. Mars is your only fire planet, and whenever we lack an element, it makes us more attracted to that. And then plus your descendant is fire. So I really say the most important thing would be someone fiery. Leo might work too. You don't really have any planets there. Actually, I don't really see Leo actually. So I take that back. Leo would kind of clash with your Virgo stuff. It would sort of mesh well with your Libra rising, but other than that, it doesn't really have anything to hold on to. So really someone with either Aries or Sagittarius placements. Or if they don't necessarily have to have those, but they just have to be someone, fiery and outgoing and who initiates. So most likely someone with Aries or Sagittarius. I don't know what other sign would be like that. Also that's the most important thing. The most important thing is fire with relationships, for you. After that, water or earth would be beneficial just because it meshes well, since your chart is so earthy and you have Venus in Cancer. Someone with earth or water would blend well with you, but that would be more of like a friendship type of thing, where, especially with earthy personalities would just be, you're so earthy that if you meet another earthy person, it would almost be kind of like talking to yourself in a way, which could be nice because it's easy. Like, you would relate to them, they would relate to you, you'd understand each other very easily. It just wouldn't be passionate or exciting because it would just be so familiar, and you already kind of know those themes. So it's not someone pushing you to grow more. It's just someone to fall back on, to have that common understanding. So more of a friendship type of energy with Earth signs in general: Virgo, Capricorn, and Taurus. Virgo and Capricorn would probably work better for you than Taurus, because Taurus has your Saturn there, and you have personal planets in Virgo and Capricorn. But again, it's more of a friendship type of energy. So, and this is where we can kind of start to combine things. So let's say someone has a very Aries dominant chart, but then they've got some earthiness to them too. That would allow the opposites attract side of the Aries, but also throw some earth in there to have that sort of friendship and common understanding. So that's where, where if I could see a chart, I could start to analyze these different aspects and create more of a complex idea, or complex understanding of a relationship. So anyway, just to summarize what I've said so far, fire is the most important thing, specifically Aries. After that, earth would be good, but more of a friendship type of way. It wouldn't be passionate as much. So earth could help with the fire in someone's chart who's with you. But it shouldn't be the main thing, though. Water would be kind of similar. Water would be a little bit more complementary because you're mostly earthy, and you do have Venus in Cancer, so you might be attracted to watery people. Also, your North Node is in Pisces, so I guess I like water more than earth, maybe. Again, earth is more of just friendship. It's not passionate or exciting. It doesn't push you to grow in any way, really. But it would be nice to fall back on, to just have an easy friendship. Water could be kind of like a friendship because it's more similar to earth, where you'd have more in common, but it's also different enough that it would be interesting, and there could be a little bit of opposites attract. You would be very grounding for them, and they would be very nurturing for you, and so you'd both benefit each other in that way. So I do like water. Air makes the least sense to me. Air makes absolutely no sense at all, because not only do you not have a lot of planets in air, so you don't really relate to that, but also the main thing you do have is ascendant, and you again, it would be kind of like earth in a way, where, except not as good though, because being with someone with your same ascendant, again, it's more of just what you already are. So if you met a Libra rising, well, especially since you're Libra rising, it just wouldn't work, because both of you would kind of wait for the other one to take the first step. And so it would be like putting two negative magnets together. They just wouldn't work. There'd be no attraction there. It just wouldn't be interesting at all. And since you don't have any personal planets in air, it's almost like you are air, so you don't need it, but also you aren't air, so you don't need it. Now, I know that doesn't make sense, and it's kind of contradictory, but you just have no personal planets there to connect with air. You also don't have a lot of fire planets, which would connect with air very well. So air is just completely out of the question. It would be someone definitely fiery, and then maybe with some earth and or water to back it up. And I know that's vague, but again, if I had a specific chart, I could tell you a lot more how that would work. But the main thing, the bottom line, would be, needs to be somebody fiery for sure. Yeah, specifically Aries or Sagittarius. And again, just after that, some earth or water thrown in there to, so maybe the person is very fire dominant with a bunch of planets in Aries and Sagittarius, but then if they had a little bit of water and earth there too, that would help the common friendship and our common understanding, and build more of a familiarity and a friendship between you. But then the fire would be what you need in a relationship, what excites you, what you want, what would make you feel understood, and what you would understand best in another person, what would push you to grow more, and it's just all around the best. So yeah, so hopefully that answers your question. So if I had to pick a sign, it's Aries. I'd pretty much always go with the sign of the descendant. Yeah, so hopefully that helps, and thanks for watching. I'll see you later.